I don't know how it could possibly be time for a November garden tour, but here we are. Our temperatures felt like summer just this past week, although over this past month we have had temperatures dipping into the 40s. So if you follow my channel at all, you know I have a lot of tropical goodies. My tropical plants are starting to get tired with these temperatures in the 40s because it's about all they can take. I'm Nicole, this is my Carolina garden, and let's see what we still have that's looking awesome. This beautiful blooming shrub right behind me is the camellia. This is the first time the camellia is being shown in my garden tour this year because she just started blooming about 2 weeks ago. This variety of camellia is a fall bloomer. So there are two different kinds. There are spring bloomers and there are fall bloomers. So if you're interested in something fall blooming, make sure you're checking the tags when you go to your garden centers or nurseries. This camellia is hardy zones 7 through 9, so it's perfectly ideal for my hardiness zone of 8A, and it is fabulous because it adds this vibrant color right at a time when your garden starts to lack color. Right along my front walkway to my front porch, I have this sedum that is just looking awesome right now for autumn, as the usually lime green color that it has in the summer turns to the autumn color with a little more red and orange on its tips. Now this is one of my favorite, I would like to call it a perennial. It is an evergreen plant. I love it because it does flower in the spring and summer, and also because it offers me color throughout the entire year. This is a ground cover. It also does very nicely in pots and can like kind of spill out of your pot. So I am in love with this lemon coral stonecrop sedum. Now, as we move along my front pathway, again, this is leaning toward the front door. I'm greeted with some pink over in this area, and I wanted to point that out because pink at this time of year also feels just very bright and cheerful. So I have some of my double scoop echinacea bubblegum right here. There's still just a couple of blooms on here. It's not looking as great as it did in the summer, but it makes me happy. And then it gets paired with this verbena right here, so more of this vibrant pink. I have my oyster plant that I recently just took out of my backyard in the ground and put it into some pots because the oyster plant's going to live with me inside in these pots for the winter. It is not a cold hardy plant, but we have purple on the back of the foliage here, and even that I feel like goes really nicely with the pink that we have going on. But more pink that really draws my eye up to the front porch, oh, you already saw it in the intro, yeah, is right here. So we have the verbena that's here, and then we have the Dipladenia behind me. Oh my goodness, the Dipladenia has been looking so outstanding for the entire year. I can see now that some of the flower beds some of the flowers are beginning to fade, and that's natural because the Dipladenia is a tropical style plant, and again, with temperatures dipping into the 40s, it's not as happy as it was with the summer temperatures. But so far, it's still maintaining that vibrancy, and what I'm going to do is take that entire pot with the Dipladenia and the snake plant in it, and it has to live indoors or inside my greenhouse. The greenhouse is still being put back together, if you will, right now, so that's a whole nother story that we'll talk about a different time. Just taking a bit of a closer look over here at the Dipladenia pot though, underneath, I was very lucky to have had this dragon's breath celosia, I guess, make seeds or let its seeds travel down here, and this dragon's breath is growing all on its own. I'm super pleased. Like I said, I've had multiple dragon's breath babies growing in here, so I've potted up others for closer to my front door. But these two things together, it's just kind of a showstopper as you're pulling into the driveway looking at the front of my house. Then of course to my left side, I have the Lantana. I've talked about the Lantana in my garden tours before because it's also a stunning flowering plant. I mean, it has gotten much larger as this year has gone on, of course. I would like to point out that it is an invasive plant in some states, but it is not invasive here in North Carolina. And it's a pollinator attractor. It is long-lasting color. This is just, as I said, this with the Dipladenia right across from me. Oh my goodness, these items have just been so great for my entryway. I realized as I turned around from my Lantana that I didn't mention my little snapdragons. They've been in this pot for me, and of course they're super happy with the fall temperatures as well. So I have more vibrancy right here. I don't think my front porch area has changed too much since the last time you saw it for October. I still have this cute little planter with oyster plants and the sedum tucked into these sweet little pots. The croton is still doing well. I have never put it in the ground, so this one again with the awesome foliage. This is exactly why people buy this plant, is because of all the colors on the leaves. I have the Dragon's Breath celosia, as I mentioned, in pots on both sides of the doorway to keep that vibrant color pulling you right in and make you feel really warm and welcome. And the whole year through, since the spring, I've had my tropical hibiscus living in a pot right here. I'm still getting plenty of blooms on the hibiscus, so I want to keep that around, but alas, temperatures will be getting back down again into the low 40s and into the 30s even upcoming, so that is something that has to come inside with me. I'm still keeping my decorative kale out because I have different varieties around the yard and it's looking so great. And I'm keeping all the little pumpkin decorations I have out, of course, because they're all adding still that bit of festivity and niceness to a November garden. I had recently redone my front flower bed here, and so I have the Loropetalum behind me that has the magenta fringe flowers that I can see some of them budding up right here. So that's going to start looking really good really soon. But the other thing I wanted to point out was the kaleidoscope abelia. So this is getting its orange tint and autumn colors to its foliage. So they are really pretty evergreen shrubs. So I'm thrilled to have 3 of them that are going to stay here. The liriope isn't looking so hot at the moment, but it's also going to be here as an evergreen throughout the winter. So, you know, it's going to be fine, I think, having everything be together. Another beauty for the autumn for me is this weeping yaupon holly. So you can see the red and orange berries that are on this, which I just love. So that addition of color, which I wouldn't normally have from this tree, is a great part of my fall garden. And of course it's a holly, so it's an evergreen. This one in particular will get to be about 25 feet tall. It is drought tolerant as well as sea salt tolerant, so it is perfect for me because the ocean's like right over there. So I just am loving the berries on this. Something else I have that is heat and drought tolerant and is giving me great color right now is this vermilion air. So this is like the orange firecracker, and it is just great color. I have it in the summer as well as this time of year, and now the foliage is also turning color, so it's just a little extra special pop. The golden sword yucca is an evergreen, and I love variegated plants and foliage anyway, so that one's going to be great to keep here. Mums, whatever. I could take or leave mums, honestly. I feel like they give me a lot of trouble and you got to keep them really deadheaded, etc. They're okay. This one's not doing excellently. You can see probably one more thing in the back corner there, so that's the golden euonymus. I've always loved the euonymus. It's something else that's variegated and it's something else that's evergreen. So it gives that nice color all year round right back there. My front peninsula garden is a little bit of a crapshoot right now. Some things are still looking really great and some things you can tell are just so tired. So some of the things that have been prolifically blooming for just months at this point are my blanket flowers. They're still in huge mounds all over my yard in different places. If I can keep up with the deadheading, they continue to bloom. I have some asters. They're looking tired, but they're still blooming with the purple. on this side, I still have more blooming blanket flowers as well as some canna lilies. So things like that are continuing, but it's not going to be long at this point. This is the flower bed that I'm continuing the peninsula and then coming outside of my fence. You can see I have one last crepe myrtle bloom over here, and I definitely have some nice canna lily blooms up here. So we'll take them as long as we can get them. And then coming from this direction, looking along the fence, my Russian sage is still looking really good. And then having the purple paired next to the orange is still pretty cool. So again, for now. So between my golden sword yuccas, my still blooming dianthus that has been blooming, I think I said since March, my potted begonias, and my sun patience, and then I have a zebra grass here with the really pretty autumn plumes that it gets, I feel really good, happy, and satisfied with this part of my garden. Never mind the fact that it isn't being taken over by weeds or needing some sort of garden maintenance at this stage, which quite honestly, yes, we still have to maintain our gardens, but I feel pretty exhausted and kind of over that. So I'm still happy with every single thing that's over here. As I'm heading this direction from my cypress to more begonias to these are, what are these? Red Star Texas hibiscus or something like that. The leaves on the hibiscus, that even looks awesome. So I'm really even liking the transition that I have going along here. So I've been calling this my autumn bench. I don't know what I'm going to do in other times of the year, but everything is still looking really good here. I have the decorative kale. I have mums, again, can take or leave them, but they're looking good with the combination of things I have happening here. So I feel very earth tony in this area. I have sedum, and I also have some succulents right here in this head planter. My snake plants, my creeping jenny, and my hibiscus. That's the Fiesta hibiscus. They're all still looking really good right now, but that pot is definitely coming inside. That one has been with me for 3 years already. So I will take it in, keep it protected, and enjoy it again next year. This planter right here was meant to have succulents in it. The purple heart was just supposed to be a little addition, a little color to go with the succulents. Well, now my planter's kind of coming apart, but you can still see that there are succulents inside of there. I think I'm gonna take the succulents out and maybe move the purple heart too. I'm not exactly sure. Purple heart can live indoors in a pot with soil or even with water. So that can really come with me anywhere. And you see the poolside gardens behind me? I uncover the pool, I put the jets on, and I might think it's still summer out here. Just for now though. My hibiscus growing up in the waterfall is still looking amazing, and then I have other plants that I want to show you right along the side of the pool. In this shot in particular, I can see some great color. When I look out my back door, I can see the oranges and coral colors that I have between the tropical hibiscus that's in a pot, the ones in the waterfall, and then I have my canna lilies. There's a Bengal tiger, so they also have that striped foliage, which I'll show you up close. But it's super awesome that this color has been as lasting as it is. Over here, I'm still fortunate enough to have some elephant ears tucked back there. My banana trees here. I have more Dipladenia, exactly the same kind that's in the big pot in the front there. My entire succulent garden. which should all be cold hardy and should do well for me and be here exactly like this in the spring. I have my awesome terracotta turtle too, I can't forget him. But seriously, I'm super lucky because a lot of the things I have are long lasting for me. I am in zone 8A in southeastern North Carolina. We don't get ground freezing temperatures, but we certainly get freezing temperatures for the air. So a lot of the things that I have, like the Dipladenia, will not be able to stay outside. Banana trees, however, are very cold hardy, so a lot of people get to enjoy them, I think till up to zone 4 or something like that. So all of the foliage will die back for the season. You might have to do some chopping of the trunk. I like to cut pretty high these days though, so in the spring as more leaves begin to emerge, or the new leaves begin to emerge, it's starting from a higher trunk level and it gives me the additional height already to make my trees taller for the year. So my oleander tree here is something I am going to have to baby. It is my first year having it and I live right on the line of where it's actually hardy. I've seen it in many places around the Wilmington area, but that doesn't mean that mine is going to survive because I don't know how strong my root system is right now. I have a frost blanket though that I'm going to use to cover over the top, and then I have a very nice layer of mulch for underneath, so I'm hoping that between both of those things, the top and the root system will be protected. So finally, the last spot I would like to show you is on the back side of the pool area. So I have this pot with the purple hearts just overflowing, taking over and covering the entire pot, and the cordyline that lives inside of it. This combination in this exact pot have lived with me for a few years as well. The cordyline seemed to get a little tired this year. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep this whole thing in combination in the greenhouse like I've done before, but we're going to see. This is my Starry Night hibiscus. I'm still loving the dark foliage, but I don't have any flowers on it currently, so I don't know what's going to happen at this point because, again, very cold temperatures coming my way. This Canna Lily, oh, the foliage is my absolute favorite of all the Canna Lilies that I have. So it has beautiful autumn color in it already with every warm tone, orange, red, yellow. It looks gorgeous. I love it. It is going to die back for the winter though. It's not going to take temperatures below 40 degrees, that's for sure. So we'll see this beauty again in the spring. Same thing with this Canna Lily here. I'm loving that it's blooming for us right now, and the orange color. This is the Happy Cleo, I think it's called. So it has a little bit of a pattern on the orange flower petals as well. I've enjoyed having all of these and the banana trees behind me. Incidentally, the banana trees' leaves work just like the Canna Lilies. They unfurl in exactly the same way, and when the temperature that's too cold for them comes, they wilt and turn brown exactly as the Canna Lilies do. As I said, I'm extremely thankful to have all of these items in my garden though. They've made me so happy over the last number of months, and I've been thrilled to be able to share everything with you. I look forward to keeping you posted with everything that's happening in my yard, my garden, and inside my greenhouse. Thank you so much for watching my November garden tour, and happy planting.